Hey guys, thank you so much for dropping on over here to Two Awesome Men. We have a video to make. I mean, obviously we have a video to make. So I wasn't clear enough. We're mainly going to talk about the final episode
of
WandaVision, and we're also going to talk a little bit about everything else, but we're not going to focus as heavily on that,
Yeah, the finale is a pretty big part of the show. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to bring this up, not bragging or anything here.
I know what you're going to bring up.
If you happen to watch our first video over WandaVision, the one we talked about the first
first two episodes, It was when the first two episodes were released, and that was it.
And we're talking about how Jeremy Jahns didn't seem to understand what was going on, not trying to talk trash about Jeremy Jahns or anything, and how a lot of people didn't know what was going on. I just want to let you know, we were right.
Yeah.
About everything.
100%.
Everything.
Well, we didn't have Agatha Harkness in the equation, but we were right about the reason behind the sitcoms and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Which, other than the Agatha Harkness thing, which, to be fair, I'm not trying to, make out myself as a person who doesn't read a lot of comics. Yeah. I didn't really know who that was at the time.
Right.
Yeah, so, other than that, but, story-wise, we weren't trying to be really big-headed about it or anything, but we kind of felt it to be a little obvious.
Yeah,
what was happening.
Yeah, and it was really interesting. A lot of people didn't like the first 3 episodes because of how slow it was. They didn't feel like it was giving us a lot, but there was a lot to those episodes, and they still are some of my favorite episodes of this show.
Yeah, exactly. And we're just gonna kind of go over the few episodes before the final episode. I thought they were good. I honestly, one of my favorite episodes. Another one of my favorite episodes was the second to last episode.
Yeah, that was honestly probably my favorite episode.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. Like even though it wasn't so much so what the rest of the show was, it still had a really cool dark feeling to it, and it really gave you a lot of information that you did need. And another thing that was really cool, which I think it was the Canadian lad who brought it up, how in the second to last episode, whenever Vision walks into the room and she kind of says oh, you're not supposed to do that or something like that. It's a slight callback, and it's a very random callback that nobody would ever have thought about. How in Civil War, whenever he walks into the room, she's like, "Hey Vision, we talked about this." Yeah. And at the time it was okay, it's not, nobody's really thinking about this, that line, but they decided to make a call back to it.
Right.
And overall, I love the feeling of that episode. The whole show, and we said this in the other video, it was so unapologetically risky.
Right. For sure. Because I really love the idea of incorporating the sitcoms into the show, which my parents, when I was a kid, they would show me a lot of old-timey sitcoms, like the Dick Van Dyke Show, Bewitched, and all that. So I already knew kind of the feel for that show, how happy those shows were, just overly perfect the world of those shows were. So it is amazing that they were able to come up with this idea of Wanda creating her life to be a sitcom. Yeah. Because she didn't get to live a happy life with Vision before he was murdered.
Yeah, but if you are interested in watching that video that we did go over the first 2 episodes about, we'll put a link in the description below to that video. But like I said, we're going to go in and just get into the last episode, because I feel like that's the one we're going to talk about the most over this. And frankly, because it was it was a really big letdown, honestly.
Yeah, it really was.
And pretty much what I was saying, the whole show is so unapologetically risky. Yeah. It was so original, and it was sad to see this. Probably one of my favorite things in Marvel. It was sad to see such a risky show, such an original show, a show that just went against everyone. It said hey, you might not understand what's happening. Yeah. The first thing in Marvel to say, you might not understand what's happening, but if you trust us, we're gonna let you know everything. If you can let us have your trust with that, we're going to let you know everything, and it was one of my favorite things about it. It was nothing else like Marvel, and is done really well. Yeah. It wasn't it wasn't too much over the top. It was very well done. And it was very sad to see the final episode randomly, not even gradually, because even the second to last episode wasn't like anything Marvel had done. Right. And the second to last episode was very dark, gritty, very sad. I mean, not to say that Marvel hasn't gone its dark way in gritty and sadness, but this one just had a different, eerie, dark, tragic feel to it. It was the second last episode. But the last episode was just sad to see all that originality, all that riskiness, you know, just end in such a safe, completely safe way.
Yeah, overly safe. And I do just want to bring up, because I have seen a lot of people say, like on the internet, just in the comment section, oh, people didn't like this just because their fan theories didn't come true, which I will say there is some truth to that. I'm sure there are some people who are angry at this finale just because their specific fan theory wasn't right.
Yeah.
But I will say on the other hand, to a certain extent, well, first of all, there were some fan theories that I just thought were too far out there. I didn't think were going to come true.
Yeah.
So like there were some things that fans went a little crazy with expecting.
Yeah.
But if some fan theories are way more interesting than what the show writers were able to do, there's kind of a problem with that. I don't know why people try to argue that just because what the show writers did wasn't as interesting as the fan theories, that means that they're wrong for being disappointed about that.
And I will say this, the one main fan theory that would have obviously happened, the one that Marvel was like, here it is, was Evan Peters.
Right.
You know? And it's like that right there to me was was one of the things that irritated me most about this show. And the fact that it's not so much, I mean, it is because it has to do with the fact that it was Evan Peters, but it's not so much the fact that it's not like a connection to X-Men. It would have been cool, but like to not bring up X-Men in this, okay, fine. You know, I'll it's fine. You know? It's not so much that he didn't have a connection to the X-Men. It was the fact that Marvel pulled that such a cheap, and I'll say this, like if later on, if Marvel does something with him and like, okay, surprise, he's actually something fun.
Like the Mandarin, how they're going to have the real Mandarin in Shang-Chi. You know?
Yeah, like if something happens like that, you know, fine, you know, but it's just that as of now, it feels like Marvel just pulled a cheap shot on us.
Yeah, to create hype.
To create hype.
And like I've even seen people say like, "Oh, you're just mad because Marvel tricked you." I don't know why it's automatically good writing for them to hint at something extremely interesting and then just go a way less interesting route with it. That doesn't make it automatically good writing.
And it's not so much of the fact that it tricked us. It was almost purposeful. It seemed almost purposeful to start hype.
Right.
What reason did you have to cast him?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
like they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, like, and I think that's what irritates me. You know, and it's not so much like I said, it's not so much the fact that it didn't bring up X-Men.
Yeah.
You know, it's not so much the fact that they like tricked me.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
It's not so much the fact that it was a surprise or a twist or whatever. It's the fact that I felt like they cheap shot us.
Yeah. And they went like a completely like less interesting route. Like if they would have went a different route, like let's say in Spider-Man 3, if the Spider-Verse doesn't happen in Spider-Man 3, but they go an interesting route, which there is a lot of interesting stuff they can do with how Far From Home ended. If they're able to weave an interesting story in that movie, then I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I will be a little bit disappointed, but at least they'll have something that's interesting and that I'll like. But this, they just went like, he's just an actor with the last name Boner.
Yeah,
it's like okay.
Like no, it was stupid, and like I've seen some people say, well, maybe the things will get more fleshed out, and I'm about to say Dr. Octopus.
That's pretty good, but it's taken.
Doctor Strange. But I do feel like to an extent, a lot of these things should have been done here. Like this was a show and you ended it like nothing. Like, like it's to an extent, it's like a lot of people get mad at DC because their movies end in a setup way for their next stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say this is nearly as bad.
Yeah.
But to an extent, it's like, well, now you're just getting away. You're throwing everything that's interesting. If they do this, it's like you're throwing everything interesting away to hopefully we'll see it in like 2 or 3 years.
Right.
You know? So like, and I don't understand. I'm not saying they need to give us everything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like something.
And to go back into like how they played it safe, like extremely safe in this finale, Wanda, one of the most interesting parts about this show is that she was doing horrible things.
Yeah.
Like she might have not known for a while that she was the one who started the hex.
Yeah.
But she continued it.
Yeah.
Like even when Vision straight up told her, you can't be doing this. These people have families.
Norm has a family, Wanda. He has a family and he can't reach them because you won't let him reach.
She still continued to do it afterwards. So she knew what she was doing. It's not like she was like completely oblivious to what she was doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet in this finale, they completely like absolved her of all of the horrible things she did to this town.
Like not only did they completely absolve her, they almost made her
like a
hero.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like I dislike the idea of her doing this, like
kind of a villainous type of stuff.
And I wouldn't go as far as to say she was a villain, but villainous types of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the best things about the show.
Yeah.
But to go in the end and have like Monica Rambeau be like,
they'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
It wouldn't change how they see me.
yeah, but do you know what they did? They lost.
Yeah, no, exactly.
They lost their sanity.
Yeah, she's the one who started it.
Yeah.
It's not like she came into the situation and it was already started.
Yeah,
and then she was the one who ended it. She's the one who started it. They wouldn't have been in that mess if she wasn't the one who started it.
There is even like that mom, the white lady with the blonde hair that she was like in an argument with on like episode 2.
Right.
I can't remember her name was. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
She like came up. It's like, can my kid leave his room or something like that? Or I can't remember what she was saying, but like pretty much saying like they're keeping kids locked up in their houses.
Right.
You know, and these people were going insane. They were being tortured and they couldn't, like, it was bad. And to like go at the end and be like, they'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, she lost her family and it's sad. It was kind of a sad moment, but it's not like, it's not something that really compares, you know, to what she was putting people through.
Exactly. And then on the flip side, with the Hayward character, he was a dick. He did some dickish things.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not gonna say he was like a completely good guy, but like at the end, like they showed him like just a quick scene of him being arrested and all that. And I could be wrong, but did he ever do anything that was actually illegal other than trying to shoot the kids? Which that is a bad thing, but that felt really forced in there.
Yeah,
just so they could say, oh, that's why he's being arrested.
Yeah, I will say, and you could argue even that he didn't think those kids were real.
Exactly.
You know, because
they weren't real.
He had said it several times in the show.
Yeah,
pretty much brought it up and like didn't really believe in them. You know.
Yeah.
And like, if you really think back, did he? I mean, sure, like you said, he lied about Wanda stealing Vision's body, but at the end of the day, it seemed like what he was trying to do was save a city, maybe not using the most ethical way.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But at the end of the day, he was just trying to, it seemed like he was just trying to save a city.
Exactly.
Like let people go back to their lives.
Yeah.
That's all it seemed like he was doing. Letting children out of their houses.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what it seemed like he was doing. And they made him out to be this really big villain. And like I said, I'm not going to act like he was some great guy.
Yeah.
You know, but like, he wasn't like a bad person.
Yeah. Yeah. Like honestly, like until he tried to shoot the kids in the finale, Wanda was doing way worse things than he was throughout this entire show.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even understand why he was. I can't remember. I don't remember if there's a reason why he was shooting at those kids. All I remember is that it was really forced.
Yeah,
like there was no really big reason for it. It was just
he just like saw them and like wanted to like shoot them.
Yeah, it's like, well, there you go. Look, he's mean. He's a bad person.
Right.
You know, like no, it was. It was just so irritating and it's another thing to add to the fact that I keep hitting this microphone. Hopefully, I wanted to pop in there, but it's just adding the fact that this ending was so safe, and not only was it safe, but it was like safe, but also not well written.
Yeah,
you know, like they could have at least had it safe and had Hayward be a bad person,
right?
You know, and I mean they could have really ended it safe and had Wanda be like a bad person. They could have done something, you know.
Yeah, and especially because like in the scene wherever the whole town, like the scene you brought up earlier, when the whole town, Agatha wakes up the whole town from the spell that they're under, and they start like hounding her, like surrounding her. That scene just felt really rushed, and that's another thing. This whole episode felt rushed. We haven't mentioned that yet.
Yeah,
that's another big thing. This episode felt very safe, and it felt very rushed. But just especially that scene when Wanda is supposed to feel the entire weight of what she has been doing this whole time. That whole scene just felt very rushed. Yeah. And honestly, the acting in that scene by a lot of people were kind of bad.
Yeah.
Which is weird because like in a previous episode when Vision wakes up Norm when they're at their job and Norm starts freaking out and wanting to call his family and all that. That scene was done a lot better than this scene in the finale, which the scene in the finale should have been a lot heavier because it's the whole town ganging up on Wanda and her realizing just exactly what she's been doing and feeling the weight of what she's been doing.
Yeah, exactly. It seemed like it was like a checklist of things. Like they're like, okay, we have this scene where Wanda finds out things that she's torturing people. Done. Let's go to the next thing.
Right, exactly.
Like it just seemed like an episode full of like just a checklist. That's what this episode was.
Yeah.
Like it's like we've done all this, but now we got to get the ending. Okay, do this. Now we got to do this. Now we got to do this, and just go through the checklist. That's all it felt like. It just felt like it didn't feel like you were putting any weight into this episode.
Yeah.
The only reason why you felt actual sadness in that scene whenever Wanda and Vision were together and she was about to lose Vision was because we know them.
Right, exactly.
You know, like we know them. We've seen him die so many times. You know, we're gonna have to realize it's happening again. The only reason why it held any weight at all is because we know the characters.
Right.
And that's what held that scene.
Yeah, and another thing that was really rushed was the whole other Vision that was that Hayward had created and all that and sent to defeat the Vision that Wanda's with. That felt really rushed because it was like over in the matter of like minutes, like just like a few minutes. And it didn't really make any sense to me. I might have missed something, but how, because like the Vision that Wanda was with like inserted his memories into the other Vision.
Yeah.
But how did he do that if he didn't have any memories before Westview?
Yeah, exactly.
And like I guess the only thing I can think of is maybe the other Vision still had those memories deep down inside. But even if that's the case, it really diminishes the scene in the previous episode whenever Wanda sees his body at Sword and it says like, I can't feel you.
Yeah.
Because he was there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It like the whole thing was so rushed, and even the fight scenes, they just didn't. And I know we use this word. We've been using this word a lot, but it didn't hold any weight. It just they were just flying around, and fighting each other. In fact, the only part of the fight scene I liked was whenever the two Visions had that philosophical argument.
Oh yeah, when they're just talking.
I was like, this is kind of cool. I like this actually because it wasn't something we had seen before, anything like that. It was like, okay, the two Visions would definitely fight like this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like it just made sense, and that was like the only part of the fights that I liked, really.
Yeah, it's like that checklist you were talking about. It's like they're like, okay, we have to have a Marvel CGI fight.
Yeah.
in this episode. Yeah. So like, it honestly was one of the worst like CGI fights that Marvel has had. Yeah. Because there wasn't really anything interesting, especially with Agatha's character. Agatha felt like the most bland character that Marvel has had, because there wasn't really anything interesting in that fight that was happening. Yeah. It was just a bunch of CGI-ness. Yeah. Just everywhere.
And I think she had the capability to be interesting. We had something earlier to make her interesting. And it's just the fact, I don't even know if we said this yet. I think we have. I don't know. I felt like this could have been I feel like they could have had one more episode.
Right.
I would have helped out a lot. It wouldn't have helped out everything, but it would have helped out a lot.
Yeah, it really would, because especially with Agatha, like she was revealed to be the villain in the this third to last episode. Yeah, with the Agatha all along thing, and then the second to last episode, she was the villain, but it was just a bunch of flashbacks of Wanda's past and all that, which I loved. But I mean, it's not like she was like really doing much, and so this was like the only episode that she was like really the villain. Yeah. So there wasn't much that they could have done. Yeah. Or there wasn't much that they did. Yeah. To make her interesting.
Yeah. This is the only episode of the whole show, and a lot of people got mad at the credits. First of all, I just want to say this real quick. It's a random tangent. It's another tangent. I'm just gonna go on real fast. If you were mad about the length of the credits, like you have to understand that these are. In those credits, you're going to see names. Yeah. And those names are people who worked on this, right?
Yeah, because like this show had like a movie-sized budget. It wasn't like a normal TV show. Yeah, exactly. So it probably had the same size crew that movie would have.
Yeah. Also, if you look at the times, all the times of the shows are different. They're all different lengths. Yeah. Therefore, they didn't have time constraints. Mm-hmm. You know, so whenever you had an episode, they wrote the episode and then they had the credits. It's not like they had to take the credits in consideration. Yeah. Whenever it's not like they had to take time in consideration whenever making credits. Like, it's not like a TV show on TV.
Yeah, exactly, like a cable show where they have to fit in the credits into the time slot.
Yeah, within like 30 minutes. Yeah. Like this show, it was like it could be as long as they needed it to be. So the credits didn't really have an effect on the time. Mm-hmm. You know. But anyways, I'll say this. This is the first episode, to me, that felt like it had time, like a time constraint.
Yeah,
and it was the longest episode.
Yeah,
which is very strange, but like it makes sense why it would feel like that, because it needed to be one more episode.
Yeah, because the whole show built up. It like the first 8 episodes were pretty much technically all build up.
Yeah.
So like you needed 2 episodes for like the finale, the conclusion. They had to wrap up so many storylines in this one episode that just felt really rushed.
Yeah, exactly. And I really do feel like this episode was the first time it felt like it was like a superhero TV show. And I don't know if that makes any sense, but just like it didn't feel, all the other ones felt like they could have been part of a movie, especially the second to last episode. Like they didn't feel completely like a cable TV show.
Right.
But this is the first episode that felt like a cable TV show with a large budget. You know. Right. And it was just upsetting to see. I mean, another thing about the making it 2 more episodes is we didn't get to have Vision and Wanda together for 2 whole episodes.
Yeah, and it was like the third to last and second to last episode.
Yeah.
They weren't together like at all.
Yeah, and so like that's the whole point of the show. And you're going to take that away for 2 whole episodes before we see them again in the last episode where everything's now rushed.
Right.
You know, it just takes away so much emotion that they could have had in this episode.
And it's really sad to say because I really do love the MCU, but the parts that I loved the least by far of the show were the MCU aspects.
Yeah, and what's irritating is that this right here is what a lot of people say the MCU is, this last episode. But in all honesty, the Marvel movies, I mean, not all of them, but they actually are well written.
Right.
You know, even the fight scenes, the reason why they're so intriguing is because they felt like they needed to be there.
Yeah.
They felt warranted. They felt like they were part of everything that was going on. They're interesting.
Right.
Because of the characters, the relationships, and even like the villains. A lot of times, like especially here, like later on in the MCU, the villains make everything interesting. And this, it just felt like I said earlier, I keep saying, it felt like a checklist.
Yeah.
Marvel movies, they have more of a formula, and I know that's weird saying. I know it's. And they don't always strictly go by that formula, but they are there. But this just really strictly felt like a checklist of things they needed to do.
Yeah, like honestly, like just going back to the CGI-ness. I keep saying that CGI-ness. The end fight scene with Wanda and Agatha was like I was sitting there watching it, and it's like the first time I've ever felt like, oh, this is how people feel. People who don't like the MCU feel.
This is how they feel.
Like, that's legit how I was feeling during that final fight scene.
And it's awful because a lot of people who trash the MCU are going to bring that up.
Yeah,
just how it felt. I'm like, well, I agree with you on this episode, than this episode only.
Yeah,
just because it felt, and it's just sad. It really at the end of this episode, and I don't want to say this episode was trash. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
you know, I don't even know if I would necessarily say it was bad, like bad. It was just extremely disappointing, and it was just sad because it felt like a betrayal of all the riskiness and the originality that the show had led us to believe it was. And before we end this and get to our conclusions and grades and stuff like that, I just want to bring this up. We had forgotten to hang it up in this episode because I was planning on talking about it earlier. But this right here, if you watched whatever our last video was.
Yeah, it was when we talked or it was a Justice League trailer reaction, I think.
Yeah, Justice League trailer reaction. We had this in the top, and I took it down because
we had it up there.
Yeah, I took it down because I was planning on talking about this. I'm like,
at the
hey,
beginning of the
look
video.
At this. Look, you know. And then I was gonna put it back up, but I completely forgot. And it was just sitting on my leg this entire video. But here it is. This is my little cousin.
That's your little cousin?
Yeah, that's my little cousin. my cousin that lives with my family. She drew this. It's actually fantastic. She draws a lot of other stuff too. She has stuff around our house. I mean, if you're interested, her page is called it's Dewdrop Fox. It's like
on Instagram.
It's like I have it right here, but it's like XX Dewdrop Fox X.
I'll probably put it right
there.
Here.
It is. Look at it. Look at it right there.
In post-production.
There it is. Check it out. Yeah, there it is, and it's amazing. Actually, it's actually really well done. I just wanted to bring that up. So we're gonna do something a little different than we usually do. We don't actually talk about a lot of TV shows, but even if we did, most TV shows do have they're very what's the word? Consistent in quality. Some are, and especially per season,
right?
But since we didn't feel like this was consistent, we are going to first grade the everything before the last episode, and then we're gonna grade the last episode, and then maybe we can do one grade that we felt like it was together.
Yeah,
you know, at the end. So I'm gonna say that WandaVision episodes 1 through 8 are 95% awesome.
And I'm gonna say that WandaVision episodes 1 through 8 is R. Did you say R or is?
WandaVision episode 1 through 8 is R. Episodes 1 through 8 are, I think I said is, but you can say R.
All right. One of those will be right. I'm gonna say that WandaVision episodes 1 through 8 are 92% awesome.
And then I'm gonna say that WandaVision episode 9 is 50% awesome.
And I'm gonna say that WandaVision episode 9 is 45% awesome.
And now we're gonna go ahead and give it like a grade for the entire season. It is gonna be kind of low because unfortunately, like even though we loved everything up to it, the ending is very important. Like you could have a middle episode that's not all that great, but like a last episode not being all that great is gonna put you down quite a bit. So we're gonna go ahead and say that WandaVision season. Oh, what is this?
Yeah, I think it's a limited series. I think it's just gonna be one season.
What is it? Just WandaVision.
Yeah.
So okay, so we're gonna say that WandaVision is 70% awesome. Well, guys, there it is. Unfortunately, like I said, like we're just saying everywhere, like everywhere,
everywhere. We're talking about this everywhere.
we're bringing microphones to the streets. So like just like we were saying, like it's unfortunate. I will still recommend it. It is a really good show, and if you do like Marvel a lot, and you're kind of just looking for that Marvel feel, you might like everything pretty well. Even the last episode, I've even seen some people say this is the best episode. I'm going to heavily disagree with that, but like it's still, some people think it's the best episode. So go ahead and go watch it, see if you like it, and let us know in the comments. Are we there yet? Yeah.
Are we there yet? The show with Ice Cube?
No.
the movie with Ice Cube?
I said that a little early. Okay. So anyways, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also comment and let us know what you thought about this video, and if you agree with us on our things. If you have any more complaints to make us like this show less, let us know let us like this episode less. Let us know in the comments about your opinions on this show. And just have like a discussion. It's cool. I like having comments about this show.
Yeah, and don't forget we have social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at 2awesomemen. Also, be safe during COVID because things are opening up and it's kind of a little bit early when vaccines are just starting. I just got my first dose of the vaccine. But I just want to show that off.
Nice.
Show off my muscles.
Those muscles. Nice.
I just want to show the Band-Aid. But just stay safe.
Yeah, and we might lose subscribers or whatever. But just wear a mask.
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard. I do it all. I had to wear a mask while cooking steaks over a grill for about a year. So deal with it. It's cool. Just wear a mask. That's all you gotta do.
That's all you have to do.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and you will see us later.